Welcome to Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, the first and only place to come to for movie reviews live at the cinema. Today we're going to bring to you our Avengers Endgame discussion. We're not going to give you a breakdown scene by scene, that's long, so we're just going to give you what we believe is the most important discussion points. Before we give you our discussion, if you haven't seen it, make sure you check out our Avengers Endgame reaction video when we came out live at the cinema, straight out our seat. Excitement, blood boiling, excitement, very emotional, tears still in certain people's eyes. You've had overwhelmingly positive things to say. So let's start with what we might feel are the dislikes in the film. Adam, I'll kick to you first. What did you like about the film? I know you were quite outspoken in your gripes.
For one, I do think the runtime was a little bit too long.
Okay.
I do think that.
So let's talk about that. Does anyone, apart from Adam, feel like the film was 3 hours long, just maybe shy of 3 hours?
3 hours.
Do they feel like the 3 hours was too long for the film?
No. Let me say this. The only reason you would say that the film was too long is if you could go, that wasn't needed, that wasn't needed. I can't think of a single scene in that film where I've gone, you wouldn't have needed to put that in the film. So I don't know how the runtime could be classed as too long. I know 3 hours is a long time for a film, but what in that film could have been removed? Nothing. Nothing.
I don't know. I think the first half of that movie, it was just too much of a slow build-up. I understand it needed to be, but it was just too long.
I feel like you don't understand it.
But I've seen this film twice. The first time I saw it, I felt like the first half dragged a bit, but on the second time that I saw it, I felt like it was definitely necessary. Like as I said, Infinity War is just non-stop action, smash, bang, wallop. This is like a change of pace, and it was necessary because
it was deliberate.
I think people underestimate the effects or consequences that half of the universe disappearing has. That's a huge thing. And also,
but it was over an hour.
And also, you have to also remember that you're partly responsible for half of the universe disappearing. Not only that they disappeared, so you're gonna carry that guilt as well.
That has to be shown. Going straight into like chasing after the recovered Infinity Stones, it couldn't have happened. They had to talk about the loss of it because they were responsible. They failed. They had to carry that guilt. They had to showcase how everyone, all the survivors, like the survivor guilt, they had to all show that.
I get that. So you're saying you can't just start going after the Infinity Stones and all that. But that's exactly what they did. They started off and they killed Thanos in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I think that's
so they
for everyone.
Yeah, maybe so. So everyone thought it was like, right, they're jumping straight into it.
Yeah.
And then it slowed right down. And you talk about things that don't need to be there, things like that. But for me, I don't know why I got to see Captain America hosting some sort of recovery group with civilians. I don't need to see that. I don't need him to be doing that. Yeah, good for him.
We look up to him.
Cap, you know?
We need him to give us hope. That's what his point is.
Because it's not only about the Thanos.
Of course not.
The fallout also involves like citizens.
Yeah,
and it was built up for them to know, like you said, they went for Thanos straight away. That's how I think before going into this movie, that's what we all thought was going to happen. They'll all get together and they'll be like, right, we need to go and get them back. When they killed Thanos in the first 10 minutes, it threw all of us.
Yeah.
So that's why it was like almost like a reset. Like you said, Cap's there, Tony's got his family.
Yeah.
What's happening here? Like, are we just defeated? They had to bring us down.
For me, the reality is there was times in the first part of that movie when I was bored.
Okay, my question to you is, you said that you don't need to see Captain America in the survivors meeting. Why do you feel that you don't need to see it?
Because for me, that's not Cap.
What do you mean?
That's not Cap.
Yeah, but that's the point of it. That's the point. It's shown he was broken.
But now having seen the film, what should have Captain America been doing instead?
He's Captain America. He's still got all those powers. Surely he could be doing something a bit more productive than that. Although half the universe is gone.
Yeah, half the villains have gone to...
Yeah, half. There's still half left. There's still shit to be done, I'm sure.
What do you want him to do? I still don't know. What did you want him to do?
Hey, it's not about what I wanted him to do.
I said,
why do I need to see him do that? I don't need to see him do that.
All that's left.
To me, you asked me what I didn't like. I didn't like that. I found it boring.
So what would have been better? So what would... There's nothing wrong with that.
Anything would have been better. Anything would have been better.
Perhaps, I think, like I said, I think it was done deliberately. So the fact that you were bored at the beginning gave you a greater feeling at the end. And perhaps that was done on purpose to bring you on that lull.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if it was action-packed right from the beginning, which is what obviously you're saying you want, would that end scene have been as big for you as it was? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know you get
down
that.
there to there.
No one's saying I wanted the action pack from minute one. That's not the case. That's not the case.
I feel like that's what you're...
How have I said that? I'm saying an hour of that pace was too much for me.
This is how I think about this film, right? I think first of all, people need to remember this was a 2-part film. This is designed to be watched after Infinity War, rather than just a standalone film.
Yeah.
So you watch Infinity War that has all these bang, 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 all these things, and then we get the fallout and the answers in the first half of Endgame. It's like, right, this is the outcome of Infinity War.
Yeah.
We then get part 2, which is now the finish, the end. And I think people forget that. So I think maybe going into it the first time, because everyone just thought Endgame is going to be the biggest film ever, I can't wait to see all this action. And then when there wasn't at the beginning, I think some people might be like, oh.
Just to touch on what you just said, actually, that's one thing you reminded me on the bits that I didn't like. The whole Captain Marvel saving Tony at the beginning, I don't think that was explained very well. You have to think back to the end credits of Captain Marvel when she came down and she sees the Avengers. But we didn't really get that discussion of, right, can you go up and save Tony? It was just a bit like, I'm here now, I brought him down, we all know each other, we're all friends. And it's a bit like, it could have been like, oh, how did you know? Who is this woman? And how did you, like, he could have said, how did that happen? Oh, she came down. I don't know how they do it. I'm not,
See, I got the
I just didn't
impression,
like that off-camera stuff.
I think that was actually filmed for Endgame, and then they went, this runtime is 3.5 hours. Let's throw that in as an end credit scene in Captain Marvel. We'll put that, and they've just done little things like that. So I think a lot has been cut at the same time, and they decided we can put that as an end credit scene, take the runtime down. But with that scene in particular though, did anyone else get the impression that Nebula was putting him in the seat and it was going to take her parts off to fix a spaceship and die? And then when he saw like this bright light, I thought, oh, he's back with the sun, like the solar system. And I thought she was dead.
No, I didn't think that.
No one else got over. The way she put him in the seat.
I don't know why.
The way she put him in the seat. I
thought she was gonna sacrifice herself
Bro,
now.
I thought she was like, she probably thought that he was dead or something. She just was like, let me just put him to rest in it. I think that's what I actually thought was actually happening.
I thought she was gonna be a hero, like sacrifice herself. But yeah,
I thought it was a bit funny in that scene as well when they were on the stairs and he's saying like, "Oh, this is the last packet of food. Do you want it?" And she said, "No, you have it." And you just back the whole thing, bro. Take a piece, man. Take a piece and just give it to her, bro.
does she need food?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
How much food does she need anyway?
She needs
Give
like
her
oil.
some petrol.
She's oil. You need top up her oil.
Talking about Captain Marvel, that was another thing I didn't really like about the film. I felt she felt really out of place, and in the
Let's
places,
just call it for what it is.
and in the places that she did arrive, it felt like just like a plot point.
Plot hole armor, bro. That's what
Like,
Captain Marvel
okay,
was.
she's gonna get Tony Stark from space. Okay, they go to see Thanos. She's gonna fly down, do quick recon.
Yeah.
There's no defenses there. Come back up.
Yeah.
She was essentially Endgame plot armor, bro. She was there when they needed her, and that's it. Because let's face the facts, if she was there throughout the whole film, that would be a wrap. Probably within about half of the film, because she's too OP.
Yeah, but I guess we got the same thing with Vision in Infinity War. They made sure to stop his
Yeah,
powers at the
that was
beginning.
plot armor for Infinity
But
War.
that's the thing, like, has anyone ever actually figured out a formula for OP characters yet?
No.
Like, in terms of superhero movies, we haven't seen anything particularly great, have we? So,
Wait, the Marvel Universe or just in general?
in general, like, characters like Superman, Captain Marvel, I thought it was good, but we haven't seen, like, wow, that was a very sick movie about this super OP character. So I guess at the moment, until they figure that out, whatever you said, plot armor, was it?
Plot armor, yeah,
Plot
it
armor.
was.
Underpower them from the beginning. Captain Marvel, send her away. Otherwise, yeah, what are you going to do?
To be fair though,
Unless you just say don't introduce them
Yeah,
characters.
it's like
You
if
have
she
to
was
introduce
around and she put the
Well,
suit
I
on
introduce them.
and went back in time, whatever, I'll just get them all. Zoop, zoop, just get them all done.
Yeah, exactly.
No point. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she'll just get them all.
I agree with what you're saying, Miles, about Captain Marvel. So, but I said it last night. So, what was the point of her really being there? There could have been another solution to Tony like being saved. Could have been another solution than her. Like him and Nebula could have fixed the
That
shit.
could have been a
but
sequence.
whatever, nothing's happened. But then I do think the explanation of her not being in the whole movie didn't make sense.
She's
So-
the real guardian of the
Yeah,
galaxy.
yeah.
When you say
There you
plot
go.
armor, what I like about it is that it can be explained away. She outright said, "Well, do you think you're the only planet? Like, you know, there's thousands of other planets out there who are going through the same thing, who don't have Avengers, by the way. What do you want?
One other thing that I would say I didn't particularly like is how much they made Thor a joke.
Yeah.
I understand why. Obviously, his mother's dead, his father's dead, his brother's dead, his home planet is destroyed, all of that.
Half his puppet.
But they made him like a coward. I didn't even mind him being fat. I didn't mind that. They made him too much of a joke.
They full pod Thor in this film. I actually was disgusted by like how they treated Thor, and especially now that he's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So not only is he not getting his own film probably for a long time here, he's next going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's just the fact that man's in there now because in the state that he's at now, he can't be on his own. He can't be his own person.
He can't have his own movie now because he's distanced himself from Asgard. There's a new leader. I don't know. Yeah, where else can he go?
That's what I was so disappointed about Thor. The end of Infinity War.
He was so sick.
Exactly. Everyone's so gassed for Thor, so hard about how amazing, and then they just.
They turned man into a waste man.
I don't know about waste man.
Literally, you're not going too far.
Literally, he's not a waste man.
He literally was like the Marvel's version of the Cowardly Lion. Like that's who he was. He was about to get the flipping Infinity, so it's like, oh, I can't do this, and then starts running away. Like
with the whole Fat Thor thing, yeah. I didn't like that they did the whole Fat Thor as a gag and kept it like that for the whole film. It kind of reminded me a bit like Iron Man 3. You know when they built up the Mandarin?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this might be the greatest villain of all time. Turned out to be a joke.
That was a troll.
And then I thought, wait, you did this for a gag. And I thought it would just stay, like he'll do a montage, do some weights, and now he's back to normal. But they kept him as Fat Thor for the whole film. And I was like,
it was a full-blown part.
That's a feature-length gag. Okay, fair enough.
How did people feel about Hulk as well?
Professor Hulk.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it. I didn't like it.
To be honest, I found Professor Hulk quite funny. I like the bit in the cafe with him and Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man just
like,
going, picture me and picture me, I'm Ant-Man or whatever. It was really good. And
he wants a picture. He wants a picture. No. He's even saying no.
He's going, I'll take no because now he doesn't really want the picture. He's just saying, but the whole thing was really good.
And then the when they were doing the time travel at start, it's like. Time travel, everyone.
See, I like that as well. I think some people sort of, if I had to say, if there was a problem with it, as Professor Hulk, he does seem majorly underpowered as the Hulk. But then I guess it is Bruce Banner, isn't it?
It is Bruce.
He's just in Hulk's body.
Yeah, but just remember, he's not like ridiculously strong in the comics either. As Professor Hulk, he doesn't have like the aggression as normal.
So how strong is Professor like in the film in the MCU? If he arm wrestled Thor, would he just get smashed to pieces?
I don't know.
Thor said, "I'm the strongest Avenger. I should do it." It's a fact.
One thing that kind of rubbed people the wrong way with some people was the whole time travel aspect. How did you guys feel about that? In any show. Flash, Back to the Future, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, time travel is
tricky.
It's tricky in every film because I think many different movies have many different rules of time travel.
Yes.
So it's how you see it.
They even addressed that in the movie a little bit.
They did a little bit.
Yeah.
They mentioned Back to the Future.
Hot Tub.
It is a tricky one because
there are no rules.
What are the rules of time travel? You know,
with TV shows and films that do time travel, I think it's fine. As long as they stick to one concept of their rule, right? And that's where most of the shows get it wrong. Heroes, for example, that you can go back and change things, right? And then come back and it does all that. But then they don't consider butterfly effects. Whereas there's certain shows where once you go back and change things, what happened all the time. And as long as you stick with that, you can't change anything. That's perfectly acceptable rule of time travel. As long as you stick to your guns. A lot of films get it wrong. I think Avengers didn't get it wrong, and they built in their own rule. They said, alright, you can change things as long as you cut those timelines off. So they did the whole, if you go back in time, you can't change things, it will just create another branch. And I thought, that was a pretty cool concept there. They kind of explained away that whole time travel problem.
One thing with the time travel is interesting. They've done it in a way where they can kind of go where they want with it and just kind of explain it as they see fit. For example, they're supposed to put back the Infinity Stones where they got it. How do you put back the Soul Stone? Where you got
Who
it from?
knows?
Probably give it to Red Skull.
Well, that would have been an awkward situation.
Okay, so again,
And it's a soul for a soul.
I was about to say, is that a rule? Soul for a soul. So
If
if
the
you're
soul's
saying,
going back,
I'm
you
going to
get-
give this to you, I want my
Water
soul
for a
back.
soul.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
can you?
See,
That's
see,
what I
see, that I like.
Staying on the subject of time, not necessarily the rules of it, I think we've discussed that. But I'll tell you one thing I really liked about them
Really
going
good
to
fan
2012
service.
is when they saw the ancient one, because there's something you don't really think. She was fighting.
She was fighting.
I was
She was
sick.
fighting.
Obviously, we never saw
Oh,
that. And you
so
think,
good.
oh, why would you not
Yeah,
be
yeah,
doing
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So she was fighting.
That was
them,
very sick.
then whatever they are coming down. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then even she went, Strange, Stephen Strange, he's not here for another 5 years. He's performing surgery. It's a bit like
That was so sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she
yeah,
knows
that's
it.
Yeah.
And
I
did
really
they
like
ever
that.
say in Doctor Strange in the films and stuff? Because she was like, he's supposed to be the greatest of us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that the first time that she's mentioned that, or anyone's
I think
mentioned that
I
in
think
this
that's-
MCU series?
Yeah.
Must
And then
be
even when
sick.
you think about it now, the way she buoyed him off in Doctor Strange, but she
Yeah, she knew. She knew.
she was doing that. But even though she knew he was going to be the greatest of all
Yeah,
time,
Yeah.
it's just like it was. Yeah,
But that's why remember in Doctor Strange, she was like, I can't see past, because she can see all through time and whatever. And she was
But
like,
she couldn't see
I
past.
can't
after
see
that.
past a certain point though, so I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna die while you're here.
Yeah.
But still, she went, it has to be.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be the greatest, so it is what it is.
But there was a lot of fan service, a lot of
fan
and
service.
a lot
A
of
lot of fans.
for the comic book readers. There were a lot of throwbacks to the comics as well. I don't know if you guys realize. See at the end when Thanos' ship blew up the Avengers compound and Hulk had the rubble on his back.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
Worldbreaker Hulk.
Yeah.
And obviously you
And
had
it was a
the
lot more than just the little building that he was holding up as well.
Yeah,
I think in the comic he was holding up a
the
flip.
tectonic
Mountains.
plates.
Yeah.
He was holding mountains.
He was holding the planet together, but yeah, and it had the old school Ant-Man helmet.
Yeah.
It had Thor with his Norse god vibes with a beard plaited
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
A lot of fan service, and I enjoyed that a lot.
On the subject of time travel and the rules and what happens in different branches, what happened to Loki? Because when they went to
He's still dead,
2012,
bro.
he used the Space
You can't
Stone.
say he's still dead.
He's still dead.
He's still dead.
He's still
No.
dead.
Okay, he
Guaranteed.
used the Space Stone to go somewhere, right? And then Tony Stark and Cap were like, let's just go, we messed up, let's go back even further and get the Space Stone again somewhere else. So, is it cut off, that branch? Because he's gone, but remember we know that Tom Hiddleston has a Loki TV series coming out.
Yeah, but he's still dead.
He's still dead.
Guaranteed.
We don't know
he's
if it's
still
a
dead.
prequel.
Nah,
Yeah.
if he was still dead, they would not have done that.
Yeah, what?
They-
That's my point
pointless
on a
of
lot
them
of
showing
things.
that. That was
Yeah,
it was just there was
I
no need.
agree with Greg.
Does them going back prior to that not affect that timeline?
No.
It
Well,
doesn't.
I don't think
so
so. 'cause
I
the
don't- it
branch-
wouldn't-
The
it
branch
wouldn't-
is already
it
there.
would
No, no,
create a
it
new
wasn't
branch.
Yeah,
it will
exactly.
create a new branch.
So imagine that they were already in 2012 as a present day, and that happened, and then they go back in time to get the Space Stone. That's a new branch, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I
like you
see.
could call it like Inception. Like they've in the present, they've gone back to 2012 and made a branch. Something's gone wrong, so they've gone back to 70s or 50s, made another branch. Like I think it's just multiple branches, isn't it?
But I guess
So,
the
yeah,
one,
so
the one in
literally
the
all these
70s.
TV shows are going to be different branches
No, but I don't.
of it.
I don't think it will.
I
I,
don't
think
know.
the TV shows will marry it all up. I
I
don't think.
Yeah, it'll get too complicated.
I don't think they'll be showing. Oh yeah, because when
Sometimes.
Loki disappeared, this is now his new branch in this TV show. But this has nothing to do. This ain't DC.
Well,
I don't do
yeah.
things like that here.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out. But I think he's alive. For what it's worth.
I think.
I
Sorry,
think he'll be back.
he's alive, and something he's done with the Space Stone, and when he's gone off, he's going to do something, and he's going to end up back in the time, or
maybe-
the main branch.
Or maybe he might show up in a Guardians film.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
He
he's
might
linked to
show up.
Thor.
He's
So
linked to
why-
Thor, and he might come through at some random planet. Wait, hold on a second.
Or they just, or at the end of Guardians, or in the middle of Guardians, something happens. They get wind that Loki's behind something, and that's how Thor goes. I need to go and find him. He's off, and that's it. Thor's gone. That
Back in the
explains
main
Thor's
branch.
absence. He's gone to find Loki.
Okay, so the huge payoff in this film
Yeah.
was the much anticipated final battle. You know, in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the film, Thanos got killed. coming around full circle to the end. Thanos is back. He come back from the past to try and destroy their future. And he says to them, you know what? Okay, I see what you guys have done to me. I know what to do to you, man, now. I'm going to finish you, man. I'm not going to do half of the universe business. All you man are dead. And I'm going to erase the memory so you don't remember what's happened to you guys.
I'm going to raise this whole universe and create a new one.
That was mad. I think this final battle is just literally the culmination of everything for the last 11 years. And I think they truly represented that on screen. Definitely. I think like that battle definitely lived up to the whole, right, this is it. After 11 years, this is what we've got. I can't think of anything that I would have done differently. Like,
this battle, it was perfect. It was perfect. Even the build, like brilliant. Let's just break it down from the beginning. It was like they're in trouble. Thanos, when I saw all his people come, I was like, how the hell were they going to get out of this? Because if these heroes here just defeat them lot, that's done. Because the amount of people Thanos brought, I thought, obviously I knew something had happened, I just didn't know what. And when I see the circles, mate, my heart was going to goosebumps. I was like, no, you're not telling me they're back. You're not telling me they're back now.
That was sick.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. When I saw it for the first time, and it was my eyes started welling up. Because I was thinking to myself, like, this is what we've built to. 10 years worth, and there's like 40 heroes on screen. Like, where else can you get this? This is what we've built towards.
It was emotional.
Like, as a boy, when you play with your action figures and you have your imagination, like you're doing this, like I could have never imagined I would see anything remotely close to this on screen ever. So
like I said this multiple times. This is what I wish Civil War was like, bro. Because like seeing this was the most amazing battle I've ever seen in cinematic history.
I say the problem with that, if Civil War was like that, the heroes weren't trying to kill each other, even in the comics. Whereas at least we got to see all of them in their full abilities killing these villains. And if they did have all the superheroes in Civil War, it would have been like, yeah, they're fighting, but they're not actually trying to kill each other, are they? I'm glad they saved something like that for Endgame. And I think the only thing, I say like it was perfect, I couldn't have it. The only thing that might have been like, well no, it definitely would have made me even more gassed, is if one of the circles, you just hear like, Wolverine jumps out like, if Wolverine and X-Men jumped out of one of those circles,
bro, like I said,
Deadpool, no way.
Bro,
I would be ready for that.
If I heard the X-Men theme tune for the cartoon 90 series, bro,
I think it was for the
I fully just like, I pass out.
What you're telling me is they're all fighting and then there's one more circle.
And it's like,
and then Wolverine just comes out. Are you telling me
you get gas?
Feeling
you'll get gas, but
it would make
they would have to explain it all.
No. So what I mean to say is, like, yeah, that would have made me gas, but it's just a shame that Disney didn't acquire Fox, say, 5 years prior. Like,
and then Deadpool comes out like backwards or something. Why am I looking at the cat? Why this is the wrong guy? Anyway, that didn't happen. Going by them. So just when those circles happen, who came out first? Was it Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Sam, you heard his voice. He heard his voice first.
Cap.
And then Black Panther came out first.
Yes.
You heard Sam came out. You looked to your left. Yeah. And you saw the
look to left. That's it, right? Yeah.
But before we even get to that portal bit, one bit that shocked me, just kind of kicked off the final battle. Hulk snapped his fingers. Everything was back to normal. Ant-Man's looking out the window saying, I think it's worked. Then you just see this missile. Boom!
Bro,
I thought Ant-Man was dead because he took like the full impact.
Just everyone's back. You've just killed them lot. What were you doing?
I thought Ant-Man was dead because he did receive the full brunt of the explosion.
That was a bit.
I think he made himself.
He probably just turned, instinct, probably just quickly into his suit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He didn't even have his helmet on at the time as well.
And it was relentless, like boom, boom. The whole complex was shut down.
They murked that complex hard, boy.
Shut down. But yeah, the final battle, even before the portal opened, you had all the events leading up to that. So you had Thor getting his armor back.
Yeah.
He had Stormbreaker and he had Mjolnir even before that.
Okay, let's talk about that, right? When the three of them, Stark, Cap, and Thor, when they first turned up and Thor went,
the true holy
bang, and then he had the flipping both of them. My guess, I was like, oh my god, he's got both of them. However, that was overshadowed. That scene where I thought, it can't get any better than this. He's got a flipping Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, and Thor's about to flipping get pierced with this axe, and you just see Mjolnir rise up, bang, dash it at flipping Thanos' head. You just see it come back, bang, he's holding the flipping Mjolnir.
With the shield as well.
And the shield in the other. I can say this, without that, and I said this in the live reaction video, but I have no doubt in my mind that is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not including just films and TV shows. Anything that I've ever experienced in my life, I've never seen anything better than that scene. There's no competition.
Easily one of the
Can
best
you name
ones.
anything that you've seen in your life that is better than that?
I mean, when my child was born,
What kind of movie?
Better than Cat holding Mjolnir?
yeah, I mean, I think it was just a bit.
Oh, man.
That moment, I was gassed the first time, I was gassed the second time seeing that film. The levels of gassment.
Yeah, the combination was just ridiculous. Even just wielding it, throwing it, then he had access to the lightning as well.
Yes, you know why it's so sick? Because Captain America is a tactician and he knows how to fight properly, where Thor is a brawler. So he was actually using it technically like the right way of doing it. Like he threw his shield and used his hammer to enforce the shield attack. Bro, it was sick.
That is ballistics. And the thing is with that as well, it's interesting because Thor went, I knew it! And what he's talking about, obviously, you remember in Age of Ultron,
when he was trying to lift it.
And I remember some people saying, so are you saying Cap's not worthy because he couldn't lift it? And there was a Q&A with the directors, and they said straight up, like, hang on a second, could he not lift it or did he just stop? And I guess they kind of gave it away from the because they said that at the Age of Ultron Q&A.
I moved in it.
Yeah,
he shifted it just like a millimeter.
And it's confirmed.
That's crazy.
It's
when you think about it, that's crazy when you think about it that they had that much foresight. Even them that in the future.
That's mad.
Mate, that is confirmed that at that point, Cap was like, and this is why he's a hero, because he went, I'm not going to lift it. That's going to be a pass. So
he definitely didn't try though. He definitely didn't try.
No, he did try, of course. And then he went, I can lift this, so I'm not going to.
You reckon?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I reckon it's still heavy.
I'm 100% certain that he went, I'm not lifting that up. He made that decision. He went, I'm not going to do that to Thor.
Yeah, I mean, that was, that was a good scene. But the final battle.
Good scene.
Yeah. But the final battle in general, I think they've done it really well because
those parts.
They gave everybody their moment.
Yeah.
Even the returning heroes, I saw Black Panther when he had it and he was running through. They gave Spider-Man his bit. They gave even Star-Lord got a little bit, a little thing with Gamora. I think they gave everybody a nice amount of time in the final battle to showcase what they can do.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I had to say it was an emotional time when Stark saw Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly, it's like all them little moments they have in their heat of battle when they broke it up.
They had the huggies and hugs.
Good moments,
This is
nice.
It was kind of reminiscent of him tying the ribbon on the relationship with his father when they went back in time.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had a tumultuous, I don't know if it's that word, did I use that? I think that's a
I've
word.
never heard that word.
Tumultuous relationship.
What does that mean? I've never heard of it.
Like volatile. Which is another good word.
Tumultuous.
Relationship. So, and they ended on bad terms. Well, he had a premature death. He wasn't able to tell his dad how he really felt and all of that. They were able to tie the ribbon on that. Yeah. And they tied the ribbon on this type of father-son relationship as well. Felt the guilt. Him seeing the picture in the kitchen is what kind of acted as a catalyst, another good word, for him to revisit the time travel idea. So.
And it was also good that Peter kind of explained. I know they disappeared, but he was like, 1 minute it was here, you must have passed out because then I just came back and you were gone. It was 5 minutes, and then so it kind of got us into the mindset. Okay, so when they disappeared, they were literally just gone from existence, and they came back, but they had their memories of that point of them disappearing. That's when they came back.
There was theories that they were all just in the Soul Stone. Yeah. So I guess it's not. They just didn't exist. Straight up.
Another good moments as well. I don't know if people kind of expected it. Obviously, in the beginning, you saw Tony Stark, his daughter. She had come out the tent wearing the little helmet. At that point, did you think, late in the film, we're going to see Pepper Potts wearing?
No, I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that.
And how she was moving sick in the suit though.
Yeah,
she was doing mad stuff.
I I do want to mention that because what does she train to do that? Because I noticed when Iron Man first got in that suit,
who's looking after the kid? Like, where's she come from? You know what I mean?
Who's looking after? No, he's a billionaire. He's got nannies and stuff. But anyway, like,
is he still a billionaire?
Yeah, Happy Hogan. But when in Iron Man 1, he was struggling to get off the air and stuff like that, and it took a lot of practice for him to work out how to do all these things.
Yeah, but just remember, in Iron Man 3, she did use the suit for a bit.
Yeah, so I'm a bit fed up. I'll tell you what, I'm a bit fed up of people going into suits and using it like he does when they've had no prior training. Like when Rhodey first went in the suit, he just got in it, flew off, went to the thing, whereas Iron Man had to do test runs.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you can argue that the AI...
Yeah, it improved it. When they got in it, it was the finished article. So
that was all tested.
To do that in movies quite a lot. Speaking of moments, Scarlet Witch also had a moment on the battlefield.
Scarlet Witch,
and she would, if it wasn't for Thanos saying "rain fire upon them," she might have killed them.
Yeah, she might have killed them. No doubt.
Guaranteed.
No doubt.
I guarantee Thanos would have been dead.
What about your troops? Just do it.
Fund them. Yeah.
That was another good moment as well when the ships, like you were saying, the guns, what do you call them? Cannons, whatever they are. And then they just went up, and you're like,
I was curious. I didn't know.
You see Captain.
When I saw it in the head, I was like, oh, here comes the plot armor.
Her entrance
was reminiscent of Thor's, but
yeah, you hear the thunder clapping. It's like, oh shit, who's coming, bro?
Because don't get me wrong, at that point I forgot about it. Yeah. No, seriously, I forgot.
She did say she's not going to be back for a long time.
Like, I didn't think, Captain Marvel's going to turn up soon. I did not.
I forgot about that, to be fair.
Even when Thanos was fighting her and he gave her the headbutt, bang!
Yeah.
She just filmed it.
She didn't even move.
She didn't move.
You know what's so sick as well, though? Thanos took the Power Stone out. And then you know what? Alright, girl. Bang!
That was bad. That was mad.
I remember thinking at the time, Thanos is actually just too smart. He's just too sick.
I think, speaking of Thanos, I think this film, I said it again in the reaction video, but I think he is solidified as just the best villain.
Yeah, he's definitely
he's fully fleshed out. Like, he's got everything. Not that I can relate to him, but he's a relatable character. He feels like he's not just, I'm going to destroy the world. He has meaning. And this sounds bad to say, but there was times during the battle when he was getting beat up where I felt sorry for him. But when he was getting beat up all the time, I was like, poor Thanos, man.
But I like him as a character, even like watching Infinity War again, and when Scarlet Witch, when he killed Vision, and he was like consoling, he said, "My child, I understand. I understand what you're going through. I understand your pain. Like I come from that."
For one film, they fleshed him out sick for Infinity War, man.
That was his film, basically.
Yeah, that was literally
certainly his film.
They even said at the end of the film, Thanos will return. Like,
and even when he saw his death, like when Nebula had the thing, and they were like, "Oh, this is where he was just like." It's what it is. I done my destiny. It was my destiny.
My destiny fulfilled.
Yeah. I did what I had to do. That's how I die. That's how I die. It is what it is. You know, he accepts that. Can we just give a shout out to Ant-Man since we're on that? Ant-Man, great performance.
That was a punch, innit?
Just the comic relief he brought to it.
I love that.
I think he had a pivotal role.
He was doubted when Paul Rudd got the thing. They were like, why are they going to put Paul Rudd as a superhero? It's not going to work.
Okay, so in the culmination of what is now already a classic battle.
Yeah.
Classic cinema.
Can't wait to see it again.
We have the final battle with Thanos, Tony Stark, Doctor Strange. All the superheroes are on the battlefield. Everyone's trying to grab the Infinity Gauntlet, skitting around on the floor. Everyone's scrambling for it. It ends up in Thanos' hands. And we have the Endgame for real. Watching it the second time, I was looking out for certain things. So when Doctor Strange came onto the battlefield, I was looking at his facial expressions very closely. And if you when you guys watch it again, because obviously you will, you can see in his eyes that he knows that Tony Stark is gonna die. Like he knows. Like when he's looking at him, he's just like.
But this is where I say, if we rewind to what I said earlier when I said I've got my point right, where I've got this thing about Strange. You know, like he knew this was gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And obviously he said this is the only way, but. He looked at Tony and was like, gave him a nod, and Tony was like, "Alright, I know what I have to do." Tony obviously went in, done. We don't even know how did he grab those stuff anyway.
I'll explain it. So that was Tony Stark's glove that Thanos
had,
in the first place. It's a nano glove, So he literally transferred the gems from one nanoglove to the other using nanotechnology.
Okay, so he's done that, and then he's got the glove now, right? Thanos doesn't know he's got the glove at this point. No, he doesn't know he's got the stones. So Thanos is like, nothing happened. By this point, could Tony not have just thrown this gauntlet to Strange? Can Strange wield? He can hold one stone. We know he can. Can he wield all of them?
Okay,
Why could Strange? Why couldn't you just go bang?
I can answer.
Go on.
I can explain that. And I'll tell you why. Because technically you could say, he could have given it to someone else. But because we know there's only one timeline where it works, we have to remember. He'll be like, Strange, here you go. And then someone will go, bang, catch it. Like one of the enemies will block it, or something will go wrong.
And I'll tell you why that's not happening. Because he's been through 14,605,000 scenarios, and that is the only one that worked.
But why?
So if he's gone through
scenarios,
so if he's gone
through, go for 15 million and let that be one of them.
So we have to do, because we have to accept there's only one where it works, right? Which means we have to also accept that anything he tried will go wrong somewhere along the line. I know you can say, why couldn't he just done this? Why couldn't he done this? But we have to accept that's the only one that works, which means something will always go wrong.
And why could he not? And when they were pulling the glove off, could Strange not have gone? I know, stupid Star-Lord is going to lose his head here. Let me just
Did he know?
Let me stop him from doing that.
I guarantee he knew.
At that time, did he know now while we're stopping it? Star-Lord's about to come over here and ruin it all. I need to watch it and look at Doctor Strange's face.
I think he.
In fact, all these Guardians ruined everything. Nebula ruined it by.
Imagine you watch it back again and Doctor Strange is like,
yeah.
And like, how do we not notice that?
I don't know. When Star-Lord turns up, Strange just goes.
Imagine we never saw that before. Now
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna go back.
The reason I'm saying that is because obviously the death of Tony, obviously as we know, as it happens, let's just finish off what happened. Tony snaps, everyone disappears, and obviously the power is too much. And
I thought
that's
Captain Marvel.
11 years. Tony Stark. Captain Marvel, another one.
Give it
to Marvel. Give it to Captain Marvel.
I'll be honest, I don't trust what she would have wielded.
She actually is. But Tony died, and to be honest, it was quite. I think that's the biggest death in comic book history. It's got to be, isn't it?
It's 10 years. It's a decade worth of film and storytelling.
He is the pioneer of the MCU. I don't care what any of you say. He is the main man. He's the poster boy, and to kill him off. To me, was shocking. I expected Captain America to die in this movie. He didn't. It ended up being Iron Man. And I'm very surprised. I thought Iron Man would be there. Not fair,
essentially, Captain America is killed off because he's not going to be another film again.
No, but he's not killed off. He had his whole life. He had a life.
Contract.
He had his dream life.
I thought maybe Tony Stark would have the Captain, the Nick Fury role. He would just appear in other movies, be like, just there as an advisor. I didn't think we'd get an Iron Man 4, but I thought he would be there.
Because all they need is his voice.
Yeah.
And they just CGI his suit. I did think they would, because
he can do it from home. He can just have
just like
a camera and just film his face, and he'll be in his suit. But
they could have done it. So I was quite surprised at that. I'll be honest. I saw it. I was willing to bet money. Cap's gonna die. And then Stark will survive and be in other films as Iron Man.
Speaking of the final battle and the death, do you guys believe that the payoff after 11 years and 22 films, was it worth it? Were you satisfied? I know someone's answer already, but how do you feel upon leaving the cinema?
All I'll say
100%.
is, paid off. I think I couldn't have asked for more. I watched it, and I think the ending of Endgame I was just like, yes, that is what I came to see. So for me, yes, it was a payoff. An 11-year, 22 film payoff, yes.
Adam?
Yeah.
I think Captain should have died as well. I don't understand why just Tony died and Captain got to live his life.
That is spiteful.
No,
I wasn't expecting a Black Widow death.
Why he didn't have to have a sad death? Like he had his payoff. His story. If you watch First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and this, you'll see his story all throughout, and you'll go, rah, he deserved that. You were right, he deserved that. Well done.
Has been amazing. A lot of characters have got amazing characters.
Not to say Tony Stark didn't deserve a good life, but they both didn't have to die. And if, for example, Captain America had the gauntlet and done that, I think that would have been a perfectly fine ending for me as well. and then Tony Stark lives with his daughter. I think either way, it could have been swapped out. And that's why I think one of them going and one of them surviving and sort of living their life. I think that was the perfect way. Just so happened to be that way around. But I would have been happy either way.
I think this is a fair trade because, like he said, Tony told me that I need to get a life, and I did. Tony had a life. He had his daughter. He was happy with it.
No, that's not. He just started his life. I mean, for me, I think I agree. It was almost perfection. It was almost perfection. I agree. I think if Cap was the one that went out as a hero, we would have all accepted that because that's what Cap does. Yeah. Tony doing it. I'm not saying, but you have to think of the bigger picture. He's just had a family. His daughter now has to grow up. If Cap did it, I'm not saying no one would miss him, but he
doesn't have a family.
He doesn't have a family. It is what it is. He's done. He's fulfilled his destiny. Tony now, he's He's got a widow now, and he's also got a fatherless daughter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He has to grow up without a father. It's just not.
She's got Happy Hogan.
Cheeseburgers on deck.
It's just to me, that made it more sad, and I just think maybe that was and I just think Captain America is done. Like it would have ended with him. I don't think his story, as you said, he's gone off now, as we know. His story is done.
His story is certainly done.
But Tony's could have continued. Yeah, maybe not in a solo film. I just think the Iron Man character still had a lot more to give. Yeah. So for us to get that taken away now, to me, is the only sort of mark against this film. However, I do think Tony Stark will be back.
I think there will be another Captain America to replace, obviously, because Falcon's going to be Captain America. Right. And there will be another Iron Man to take Tony Stark's place.
I don't want to see that.
But you're saying not
Tony.
Not Tony Stark and not
someone else. They'll probably introduce Ironheart. That's what I do.
I don't think it'll be the kid, not the third film.
But yeah, to answer the question though, I do 100% believe that the payoff was worth it. Amazing character arcs. Captain America, for example, started as a weedy reject from the army, and then 11 years later, he's wielding Mjolnir. Like what a journey!
Yeah,
what a journey!
Yeah.
And as I've said many times, since I've seen these films, I could have no more films from this point, and I'll be happy. I'll see
if the MCU was done now.
If the MCU was
satisfied. I'll say yes. We've had a decade-long story. It ended perfectly. I have no qualms.
But the MCU is moving forward.
Yeah, the MCU is moving forward. This is not the end, even if they don't have a
break. How long the break's going to be?
Well, there's
it needs to be a good one.
Far From Home.
2 months.
2 months from now, but moving forward, there's nothing that has been officially confirmed as of yet. So where do you guys think that the MCU is going to be moving forward? Obviously, in the final scene, old Cap gave a shield to Sam Wilson, who is Captain America in the comics. I didn't really like that.
I really don't want to see that film.
I didn't really like that for a few reasons, because I don't feel like he's a strong enough character on his own, charismatic enough to hold that mantle. Obviously, you had Bucky there, but Bucky now, after he's had the brainwashing Hydra shit, he's raised from his mind, he doesn't look up to the fight anymore.
I feel like it was very reminiscent of Dark Knight Rises. But you know when Bruce passes on the mantle of Batman to Robin, and I didn't like it because I was like, his whole point was anyone can be a Batman or whatever. But then I disagree. I'm like, no, actually you can't, because the moment he steps into that suit and tries to fight crime, he might get beat up because he hasn't gone through all that training. And I think giving Falcon the mantle of Captain America, I know he's Captain America in the comics, but that's a comic book. In the MCU, I don't think Falcon can be Captain America.
He can't be that Captain America.
He can be a Captain Whereas Winter Soldier could do it. He's had the training. He's got the ability.
He's enhanced.
They foreshadowed it. He's held the shield. He's enhanced. Falcon's not enhanced. And I just feel like I don't think he's worthy.
Bucky don't really use his powers, you know. Bucky don't really use his powers. He don't really fight as a gun. He don't use his arm.
But he can.
He can.
He can.
I mean, even when Falcon was like, "I'm not."
He said, "Oh, how does it feel?" He said, "It feels like
someone else." I thought he was then gonna go, "You've got the wrong man."
That's
exactly what I thought he was gonna say. You got the wrong man, but he meant, it feels like
he meant it's yours.
He meant it's yours. Yeah. But I did think that as well. I did think. That's what he was going to do.
But you said earlier that you feel like Tony Stark is going to come back in the future, how is he?
Yeah, I mean, like, so you said about what's happening in the future. I think with the Fox deal and all these new characters that hopefully will be introduced soon, I don't think it'll be anytime soon. To make this death impactful, I think we're not going to see Tony Stark again for 5 years. But this is comic books. Anything can happen. I do believe. I personally think he'll come back. I think they'll bring him back to life somehow, even if it's for one film. They might even bring Captain America. It might be a case of we need Iron Man and Captain America to help us, whoever the newest villain is.
Oh my god!
They're the only people that can help us, and they resurrect them or go back in time or do something to bring them back. Just for
the culmination
you know what I mean?
of the next story. Like, say next one's Endgame, the next Endgame.
Yeah,
so
the
to
next
speak.
Endgame. Yeah.
If they then go right, Tony Stark rises up, Captain America. Oh my god! With all
Because
the
if you
X-Men.
think about it, don't get me wrong. Like, we'll grow to love them. We love them already, but we don't like you know. Going forward, we've got what Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
We've still got Hulk.
Allegedly Spider-Man though.
What do you mean?
Hawkeye, Falcon. Like, you know what I mean? These characters aren't okay. You still got Thor, I guess. But you know, the Guardians. You haven't got that core yet.
Yeah.
I just think they'll call back. I think they'll be called upon.
Marvel's Holy Trinity is Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Who is the
Holy Trinity? MCU's Holy Trinity.
Yeah,
not
the
Marvel.
MCU's Holy Trinity is those three. Who's going to be the Holy Trinity now?
Captain Marvel.
Black Panther.
No one mentioned why did no one mention
Captain
Captain
Marvel, Black Panther, and
Bro, they can't.
Stranger. I don't know.
You have Doctor Strange 2 coming at some point in the future. Obviously, the Sorcerer's Supreme job is to protect the Time Stone. The Time Stone now is what, destroyed?
Doesn't exist yet.
It doesn't exist in this present reality. So
Yeah.
now the Sorcerer he doesn't have the Eye of Agamotto anymore.
Actually, where is the Time Stone?
It's there.
Why?
Thanos destroyed it. Along with the other Time Stones.
All the gems are
all
gone.
the gems are gone.
That's right. All the Infinity Stones are gone. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so if that's a big part of the Doctor Strange universe, I don't know if they're somehow going to get it back, or obviously Doctor Strange himself manipulates time. Maybe like a previous sorcerer might, or a future sorcerer might give him one, or and they might try to bring back certain characters like that.
They're going to start bringing back the Infinity stuff.
The only thing that obviously Marvel now own basically all of their characters apart from
Hulk and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they technically own the character rights for Hulk, which is why they can use him, but they don't
Just
own,
like the
I think,
solo
the
film.
distribution rights. Spider-Man, though, Sony still owns Spider-Man. A lot of people don't know. Sony still owns Spider-Man. They rented it out to Marvel. Spider-Man's going back to Sony. They don't own him. He's going back, I think, after Far From Home? Is that his last one? And then Sony get him back.
Allegedly, it was
This
5
what,
movies, and this is the 5th.
Is Spider-Man gonna not be part of the MCU? Is Mysterio gonna be like, yeah, I've taken you to the next universe? Because he's done that in the comics. Or does Venom and everything else take place in the MCU?
Well, Spider-Man is obviously the only film that's been officially advertised, and we don't know when that. I think that's still in the air, isn't it? When it takes place, when does it? When
No, we do know. They
confirmed.
confirmed. They said it takes place immediately after Endgame.
Right. Okay. So that's been confirmed.
Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
that's to deal with the fallout, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's to deal with the fallout of losing Stark, going back to school, the whole 5 years later thing, and people being 5 years older and all that. Sort
Yeah,
of stuff. So,
they're gonna have to deal with that. But then what?
but what I'm saying is that movie has to be significant.
Yeah.
Because it's the fallout. Yeah, that if you're saying it's directly after, that's
It will.
a big film.
Kevin Feige actually said that Phase 3 didn't end on Endgame, it ends on Spider-Man. He said that's the end of Phase 3, and then that's the Infinity Saga done.
So we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Can't wait for that then. When's that?
July. And then I guess the only other thing then is how we actually do get the Fox characters in the end. Whether that's Fantastic Four, X-Men. You know when Disney first done the shared universe with Marvel and stuff, Fox then said, we're going to do it as well. We're going to do Fantastic Four and X-Men. And the reason it didn't happen is because they said, don't know how we can explain Fantastic Four to take place in the mutant universe without people thinking they're mutants. And that's the problem all along. Because once the mutants are introduced in the MCU, it's like, right, where were you guys all along? Are they going to be created?
I don't know how they're going to do it. I have no
I
idea.
have no idea.
Alternate timeline places? I don't know. It'll be very
I think that's the only way I can think is there's an alternate timeline and then it merges. But they're going to have to do a big story. That could be the end. The end of the next 5 year storyline is like a
merge.
Battle World or Secret Wars or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it just merges all universes together.
What I thought they would have done is when someone uses the Infinity Gauntlet, the gems would have exploded and the power would have like spread across the earth and the universe, and it would have settled in random kids and stuff, and then they would have grown up like 5 years later. Now they have abilities, but it doesn't seem like they do that. Yeah, so that has been our detailed Avengers Endgame discussion. What a film, what a journey, what a saga. So many emotions. Thank you, Marvel.
Thank you, Marvel.
Thank you,
Marvel. Rest in peace to Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr., thank you.
Thank you, Stan Lee, for everything, man.
Thank you, Stan Lee, RIP to him too. But we have been the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N.
Cheers.
Yes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for all the latest content. And make sure you check out our next video coming soon. Until then, peace.
Peace.